They are the Magic Guys.
Episode 59. Episode 59.
What is going on, guys? Jason Ma, the king of the Magi, and my two subordinates, Josh and Doug Con, back at it again with a fresh and new podcast. The first one of the year. We haven't seen you guys since last year. But I'm going to see myself out. Seriously, we got a fantastic guest for you guys.
It's going to be a good show, right? One of my favorite presenters of Magic. If you haven't met him before, he's extremely funny. Handsome dude as well, actually.
Yeah, let's bring him on.
Anything you want to add in?
Well, look, let's give the official intro here.
Oh, I love this.
You may have seen him on the smash hit, The Naked Magicians. You might have seen him on Big Brother. You may have seen one of the many shows he's produced. But
you may have even seen his dick.
Yes, here he is. It's Christopher Wayne.
That intro needs a music track.
Now, normally we play a little game in our podcasts as well, and I think that'll be later on. But for now, I got a quick game for you all. Comment below how old you think this handsome son of a bitch is.
That's horrible.
But also, do you guys reckon in Doug's new studio? I swear to God, he looks like 10 years younger now.
I had work done over the weekend. This is what happens when fat magicians spend 3 or 4 days going up and down 3-4 flights of stairs,
angling the camera just right. You know,
you lose all the body, you lose all the bloating. So the bloating has left my body, and I'm going to try and continue this path. Christopher Wayne inspired me. We're getting naked tonight, right? Knowing that, I had to tone it up a little bit. So
Bob Possible's already hitting on Christopher Wayne.
I know Bob's excited tonight about the nakedness.
Let's
introduce our guest officially. Like, look, I don't know who our guest is, and I'm sure our listeners might not. And so let's introduce him more officially than what we have.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Christopher H. Wayne. That's not even his middle initial, by the way.
We got
Christopher H. Wayne, magician extraordinaire. Creates a lot of theater shows, by the way. So he's not just a magician. He's also, I would say, a producer of quality talent. Yeah.
I like it.
I know, that. Right? Stuff that you wouldn't even think magicians do. He does it.
It's
crazy. Plus, he's a co-writer. I don't know if he's the writer. You write the Naked Magicians by yourself, or did you? That was partly due to Mike as well, right?
It was Mike and I. We wrote it together. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, stop there. What is the Naked Magician? Like, we can't just go right there without talking about it. What is that?
Okay, so the Naked Magicians is the world's funniest, naughtiest, and sexiest magic show. That's a rehearsed answer. My best friend and I, Mike Tyler, a magician and comedian from Brisbane, a very good one. We wanted to make a magic show that hadn't been done before, and we wanted it to be something that was appealing to people that would not normally go and see a magic show. So we just wrote like Magic Mike with magic, and we wanted it to be as funny as possible and as naughty as possible. And it's been great. So for anyone that doesn't know about it, that's the elevator pitch. We've played 300 cities around the world. We did New York. We did a season on London.
That's West impressive. End. 300 cities around the world.
It's quite good.
Yeah,
that is quite good. Yes,
that's the kind of shit you write home to mum about.
Yeah, it's a little different to how.
So you've done this a while. Can I interrupt you briefly and ask, how does a naked magician come to be? Like, where was Magic Mike kind of an inspiration, or
it was. The other guy in the show, we were besties, best mates, and the movie Magic Mike came out. So he was a corporate magician. So he was doing, corporate functions and all that. And people kept heckling him with Magic Mike shit because the film had just come out. Show us your magic wand. Can you make your clothes disappear? Yeah. And then we started talking about that, and we kind of realized there was something funny in it. And then at first we were like, surely someone's done this, but no one had ever really made magic naughty, funny, and sexy, this combination. And when I say sexy, I don't mean, like a strip show sexy. I don't mean like stripper sexy. We just wanted it to be something that put a little fire in people. And what started is just, it was going to be 4 nights in a 200-seat theater in Brisbane.
So what was the venue you chose? Where do you choose to book the first Naked Magician show?
It was the Brisbane Powerhouse, which they took a chance on us, actually, which I really owe a lot to them.
Any theater that books this act is taking a chance. So, yeah.
Nope.
What do you do?
It's one of the biggest magic shows in the world. They're not taking a chance at all.
The first one, though. The first.
Yeah, that's what he just said there. Damn it,
Oh,
Doug.
right. Sorry.
Know what I'm saying, Doug?
I feel the vibe. I'm playing I'm devil's advocate. I'm the theater booker, and you're giving me the aristocrat story, and I'm like, okay then. If you don't get that joke, you need to know what the aristocrat's joke is. It's not my fault. All right.
When Chris and I first met, you were running the merchandise for the Illusionist, the big touring show. Is it fair to say that kind of gave you the taste of like the show life, the
theater
production side of things?
Up until then, I was every other magician, just doing whatever gigs turned up. If there was a carnival, come through like the Eka or birthday parties, or corporate events, and all that stuff. And then I literally applied to be the job I call it is the merch bitch for the Illusionists. It had just started. It was at the Opera House when I saw it, and I heard they were coming back to Australia. And I just reached out and said, guys, I'd love to work for you. I'll do anything. And they gave me a job selling merch. And I had a full-time career in magic, but if I was getting paid like $30 an hour, like nothing really
what were your gigs then? Were you doing like a platform show or a stage close-up?
Oh yeah, I was doing close-up and stage. Yeah, okay. So stage comedy has always been my passion.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. The best part was after the shows every night, we'd go and have a drink downstairs at the bar. And I was just spending every night hanging out with, at the time, Dan Sperry, Jeff Hobbs, and Kevin James, and these were the guys we grew up watching,
What an education.
And, yeah.
How many times did you get to do that? Was that like dozens, hundreds? How many?
No.
5?
I would have seen the Illusionist show at least 200 times.
Wow.
Yeah, I would literally go in after we sold the merch, and because magic is my love more than anything else.
It's what a great place to learn. There's so few resources for talent to learn these skills that we need to excel in our craft. So good on you for absorbing that chance and taking it.
Well, yeah. I got to say, I got to credit those guys. Not one of them was ever a dick.
Actually, I think the good ones aren't. The best magicians are givers. I think the best ones are.
They are.
Yeah. Anyway, but good. Yeah. So that led to you deciding with your friend to do the Naked Magicians.
Our goal wasn't ever for it to be big. We just thought it was a funny idea that we'd do for a few nights in Brisbane. Even that. Back then, like if a magician in our country, like it's a little different over here. I think, like when you're up and coming, if you can just have one theater show in a year, like just do one night and you sell 400 tickets, that would be the coolest achievement for like a standard magician. And so we had like 6 nights on sale, and that was terrifying to us. But it was a small theater. But then 3 weeks before the first show, that was sold out. Like the whole room was sold out, and then we added another 4 nights.
How did you sell it? Like Facebook ads or radio, or just the local magic club? All the local magic club bought 10 tickets each for.
I reckon there's been about 6 magicians see our show in the last 8 years. I think.
What do you do? Block them at the door? You're not allowed. You go to the left.
Oh no. No, they're always more than welcome. They just, I don't think they come.
We're intimidated by that massive quality experience.
So what about some of the theaters that you've played in? Because we were talking about this off air. You've been able to play in some of Houdini's theaters, right? I think the viewers are getting this.
So when we toured in the States, we were playing between 1,000 to 2,000 seats a night, and we were playing America just has so many beautiful theaters, each city. Like I live in Brisbane, and we have 2 main theaters here and a couple of smaller ones. But like in America, every city you go to has like 5 beautiful ones, and a lot of them are really old. And it was in Seattle. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the film. It's the theater where Pearl Jam filmed the Even Flow film clip. And we realized that as soon as we walked in. It was cool. And one of the cool things about American theaters is that the guys that work there are so proud. Hey, come on in. Let us know if you need anything. Let us show you around. And then one guy came up and he's like, hey, let me show you boys something downstairs, huh? And then he takes us underneath. And
that's a good jersey.
You
were in Jersey.
I was.
Yep.
It was a trap door built underneath the stage. And they'd sealed over the top of it, but it was Harry Houdini's trapdoor that he built into the theater from when he toured there.
Did you get the old touristy camera out? You just like.
I've got to find the photo. I'm literally trying to look for it now, and
I would have done the same thing.
Did he show you how the door operated? Was it functional or was it?
Oh no, it was like I don't know how to describe it. It was like an old stage, and then on top of that was the one that we stood on. So and it looked like it was sealed. And I wish I could find a photo. It looked like a death trap. Looked like something from a film.
You can imagine the stuff those fellows went through back in the day. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, in America in the early 1900s.
I can imagine what they went through too, man. A lot of stages, apparently.
Like a vaudeville circuit. So they had a bunch of those theaters built for vaudeville acts and the higher end acts like Houdini to just travel the country. It was, the place to be in 1909.
You know what's sad? Well, it's not sad. I guess this is why
it's the internet. That's what's sad. It killed everything. That's why there's no theater anymore.
Oh, there's theater.
That wasn't what I was going to say, but
I'm just saying facts. That's all.
Right, Christopher Wayne, it's your turn to talk now. Doug, shut the fuck up.
Well, Doug, I got to just tell you straight up that you're wrong there. Magic shows in theaters.
That's what I'm looking for.
The magic shows in theaters sell better than ever. I can tell you with the Naked Magicians, 1,000 to 2,000 people a night, 70 cities a year. Champions of Magic that's touring right now as a family show. They're doing London. They're doing the UK and selling out. I saw them a few times in America. They were packing out family shows in theaters. And now with COVID, people have spent the last 2 years on computers because we haven't been able to go out. But when we are allowed to go out, live entertainment is more special than I think ever. Yes, for the first time ever, it's been missed. So when we go, we don't take it for granted. We sit in the theater and the lights go dim and we look around at strangers' faces and people sweating on stage to entertain us. And it's a real special thing.
You clearly have a massive passion for this too. Like the way you're explaining it is like someone who's very passionate about the whole art form.
I live for it. I've dedicated my life to it. I think it's such a special thing. That's why I'm moving into producing as I get too old to do the Naked Magicians. I want to I love, that's what is magic about theater to me. And it's not, if I'm being really honest, it used to be, I just wanted to be famous and I wanted people to clap for me. But now
when does that mindset start? Was that something that evolved from childhood, teenage? Did you discover this in college? How does one evolve to a performer so passionate?
I definitely, I got to shout out Bob Possible there. Sorry to not answer your question straight away.
No,
but
please. Bob has good questions.
Well, he's just shouted out Mike Tyler, who's the other Naked Magician. And Mike's another one of those magicians now that whenever people reach out to him, he's always happy to offer his time and insight, like the Illusionist did for me. And yeah, Mike's great for that. I'd love to, Doug, to answer your question from when I was a kid. It's the same story that a lot of people have with the grandpa. And I just wanted to be a magician. Then when I was like 21, I worked in a factory and started learning tricks for fun. And then when it became my job, and I think this is another thing a lot of magicians have at the start. I'm like, I'm going to be the next David Copperfield. I'm going to be famous. I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be famous. And I'm not proud of that, but it's just me being honest. And then I think it was when it got hard. And as in when our show started to get successful and, things got hard, but we kept going, it became more than, I don't know, there was a point somewhere in there where it was more than success or fame, but we realized that what we were doing, it's not important, but there was something special in making people
it becomes
laugh.
bigger than yourself or your original intention. I get it.
Yeah, and I think it was the nights when it wasn't easy that we realized that, because it's really easy to rock out when you got 1,000 people on a Saturday night and everyone's drunk and having fun, but when you're in Vegas and it's your Wednesday night show and you've only sold 80 tickets and someone in the front row is asleep and you've had diarrhea and an argument with your girlfriend and you got to get on stage and do the same show you do for that 1,000 people, that's when you really ask yourself why you're doing it.
We got a good question here. Bob's asking, do you hire someone to book the tour or do you do it all on your own? So I guess that's you guys had a bit of a machine going, right? Like where you had a team helping you, you would do stuff as well.
With everywhere but America, we do it ourselves. And so Mike and I really love the business side of business. Mike's definitely better at it than me. Anyone in this group that's tried to send me an email or get a reply to an email from me will be able to attest to that.
I'm actually surprised that you're on this podcast.
What is a reply from Chris? I'm not sure I understand that. Can you explain what a reply from Chris is?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'll tell you later. I'll put it in an email later. In America, we were signed to a touring company. It was the biggest one in the world for theater shows. It was really cool.
So there are touring companies that will book your act if you're an adequate performer. You can get on the roster and play these theaters you speak of. You can go see Houdini's Trapdoor.
Absolutely. So they toured shows like The Illusionist and Book of Mormon and Hamilton and stuff. So like the ones that go, not the one that stays on Broadway, but the one that goes to every city.
Right.
And we were just booked through them. And
that's awesome.
It was great. We had to earn our stripes to get there.
That was my question, is like, what did you have to establish before that happens? Was that a year into, like, how long until you're in America doing shows?
It was we got our test. It was this is kind of cool. We don't get to.
I can imagine.
I'll just interrupt you real quick. Vipul is loving this and says you're an amazing guest. I think it's important to note that the viewers are absolutely loving you, Chris.
Yeah, you guys, if you're watching or listening, you're lucky tonight. I knew this was going to be a good one.
Thank you. That's so cool. Thank you very much, Vipul. Oh, that's cool. I got to look at these comments. Okay. So we done. Come the middle of 2016, we'd done about 110 cities in Australia. We'd headlined a comedy festival in New Zealand, and then we'd done a season on the West End in London. So now the world knows about the Naked Magicians. But so that was cool.
Had you been on TV? Did you do any of the shows? Did you do any talent shows or any of that?
I'm not a talent show guy.
I get that.
We've done like most chat shows now.
Just wondering.
Yeah, it's cool. It's hard because obviously all chat shows are G-rated.
I bet that style of act just conceptually would probably kill on a Whatever's Got Talent, or even Fool Us or something. Have you considered a show like that?
Well, you guys did do. You guys did do America's Got Talent, right?
No, thank you. I'm touring the world. I don't have time.
We did a guest spot on America's Got Talent, and that was fun.
Okay,
and then, but with Fool Us, I know Penn and Teller. I like Penn and Teller. However, there is nothing I give less of a fuck about in this world than tricking a magician. It is I more perceive that as publicity, right? So my question in bringing this into the arena was if you used TV to gain some publicity before you did your own Houdini and traveled from other countries to America. It's very challenging to do in this day. Like, I can't imagine being in another country and trying to get an international act booked here, multi-city. You were starting to tell that story. Let's go back to that. Huh? Which one?
Like you said you had a test and you had a test in America.
Oh, right. Sorry, just a little scratchy throat.
Yeah. Professional move.
So they look at us. This company's looking at us, and they're interested in our show. But like you mentioned earlier, who's going to take a chance? And so when it comes to America, it's the biggest market in the world, and they had to find a theater to take a chance on us. So they're like, we're going to put you in Florida for one night. It's a 1,500 seat theater. If it sells well, and if the show translates live like it reads online, we're going to sign you. And so, oh my God, we like flew across the world. We did our first ever American chat show, with Tammy and Kip. Good morning, viewers.
I know that show.
Oh, there's a million of them. I love it. Every time I go on one, I look around and I'm like, I feel like I'm on a fucking.
Did you have to do those in all the cities? Were you just doing that all the time?
Nonstop.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
They're great. And then, yeah, we went and did this show. I'd never been so scared in my life. I was so scared because I remember thinking, if tonight goes well, my entire life can change.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I will just go on a plane tomorrow and know that it's not going to change.
Well, what about the the story that always sticks with me is like even you being able to get to America, for that tour.
Yeah, I
you
remember
had
hearing
trials
that
and tribulations. Was
just
Gandalf
on
at the
another
gate?
note here, I went and saw Christopher Wayne perform a show at a theater called Christopher Wayne Fully Clothed, which seemed really appropriate. But I believe he told this story in that, and it's amazing. It's a really good story, in fact. There's one part of it that instantly became my favorite quote. I'm not going to say it. I'll leave that up to you, but I'd love to hear that story again.
Okay. I'm going to give the express version, if that's okay, for my sanity and for your listeners. Long story short, being Australian citizens, we had to have work visas in America. And then 1 year, the person that was responsible for filing our work visas made just a small administrative error, and our visas got declined like a week before the tour started. But it takes 3 months to get your visas. We've got a whole tour booked, and in the States, like 50 cities, I think. And it was almost sold out across the country. So there's a lot on the line. And long story short, we found out at like 11 o'clock or midnight because the person filing them was based in New York. So the time difference. And then I'm on the phone to a lawyer for the rest of the night in Atlanta who helps with specialist immigration situations. And then he's like, okay, I booked you an appointment in the morning at 9 a.m. And I'm like, great, I'll be there. And he's like, it's in Sydney. Is that near your house? And I'm like, it's a different state, but I'll be there. So I get in the car at 4 a.m. and I drive to the airport and I ring Mike and I'm like, just book me a flight to Sydney, 6 a.m., no questions, book it. And he's like, cool, it's done. So I think what Josh is referring to is a text I got from my mum at the airport because, right, I know where this is going. I actually forgot about this part of the story. When I sat on the plane to fly down to literally save my career, my dad called and my grandfather had just passed away in that moment. And my dad needed me to come and be with the family and I couldn't. And then I flew down to, oh man, that sucks. That flight sucks so much.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, it was a rough one. I got a text from my mum that day that I still have a screenshot of on my phone that said everything works out in the end. And if it doesn't work out, it's not the end. And this is a completely true story and it's very serendipitous. And I'm going to find the photo as I tell it. Because my visa was delayed, I had to take a flight a few days later. I got cleared for an emergency visa. But because I had to stay back in Australia, I was able to go to my grandfather's funeral, and it was one of the coolest times ever. And, we celebrated his life. This was the man that got me into magic in the first place. And then my dad gave me my grandfather's watch that day as a gift. And then he told me to take it on tour. And then I wore it on stage for our first American tour show. I'm trying to find that photo now. And I did that whole tour wearing his watch every single night. And all of that happened, life's weird. But I'm so glad, that was one of the worst times ever. That 24-hour period. Fuck. But I'm glad I went through it now because my mum was right. If it doesn't work out, it's not the end, and it wasn't working out. But then one day it just did, and
it's like, not to mention even getting booked or creating a show in the first place. Like, you've done all of that, and then there's still this one thing that's still, trying to hold you back.
Yeah, it's really how you handle the obstacles that shows your.
Oh, I was a shit show, mate.
Well,
I mean,
in that situation, I think
it was
we all would be, and even in those, just in general, that's the important stuff.
Okay,
it's easy to handle the good stuff.
I'm going through my old Instagram here to try and find the photo. I had to deactivate my old Instagram, but it's the Moore Theater in Seattle. If we can see this, and that's not the trapdoor, but that's the theater where Houdini played.
Nice.
That was
nice.
as you can see, it's very like brown.
It's massive.
It was very old, and
those are like highly steep too. They're like this, right? They're like.
There it is. That's my grandfather's watch. That was the first night we did that was our first tour in America. That's my grandfather's watch. That was an hour before the show, 1,200 seats, and it was in Baltimore, Maryland. I remember that night very, very well. It's a crazy story. Fuck.
Yeah, it's a beautiful story though.
I did therapy for a while, and not from that, just for life, But my therapist once said, I was telling her this story about something that happened when I lived in Vegas, and then I stopped and I'm like, "Do you believe me?" Because I realized this sounds made up. And then she's like, "Of course I believe you." And she said, "Reality is stranger than fiction." I learned that a long time ago, and it really is. Hey,
did you spend extended time in Sin City? Were you guys were you there for a month or so?
We had a 6-month residency at MGM Grand.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, it was a fun time.
Nice. Were you there with Copperfield?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it was in 2019.
Yeah,
same hotel. Two magic shows in the same hotel.
To David's credit, he gracefully allowed another magic show to come on in there to give us a chance. And
so cool.
If he said no to that, I wouldn't ever be upset.
I'm seriously surprised that he said yes to it. Like, I don't know David, but it seems like he might be the kind of guy who's like, "Oh no, that's not happening."
I'm forever thankful to him for that. I really will. He's such a gentleman, and that was. Did
you get to know him through the engagement? Where did you guys get a chance to like hang out and such?
Yeah, I got to meet him a few times. They hosted my family at the show one night, Chris Kenner and David, and like that to me was like just one of the highlights of my life. And then I was lucky enough to do a museum tour with David one night, and it was that was just I still dream about it sometimes. It was like heaven on earth, that place. It was amazing.
That's a mecca. That's a magic mecca for sure.
It was nuts.
I can imagine.
I cried afterwards. Like I literally went home and cried.
It's like a bonus show for you, right? It's like getting a whole extra show, but just for you.
Like, talk about Houdini memorabilia. Like, we're talking about the stage, but you got to see like the actual collections and stuff.
The history, man.
Copperfield has. It's ridiculous.
David owns basically. I mean, the tour is like 4 hours, and and
is it that long? 4 hours?
Literally. Yeah.
Wow.
And Mike had told me he surprised me with it. He'd arranged it with Chris Kenner secretly, and then Mike surprised me. He told me we were going to dinner with Brad Garrett, and then so I skipped dinner before our show, and then after the show, he's like, "Come on, we're going to get a feed." And then we went to the museum tour, and the tour started at like midnight, I think, and I hadn't had. I remember it was 3 a.m. and I'm like, I think I'm gonna faint, but this is like the best moment of my life. Yeah,
sounds about right.
That was good. Yeah, he owns basically all of Houdini's estate, including. I kind of don't even know if I want to make sure he's got this stuff on TV before I talk about it. like on Oprah or something, so I'm not giving anything
what
away.
about the book? He just published everything in the book, right? Maybe not everything, but sadly, I did not receive the book. Sadly, I didn't get the book for Christmas.
Are you palming a coin, Doug?
I am. I'm classic. I practice what I preach. Always practice your coin moves. Practice your coin moves. Always.
That's a good lesson.
I want to hear about Bob's. I don't know if we're allowed to ask questions back, but I want to hear about Bob's stage act that he's putting together. And you said something before, Doug, that's really interesting about how hard it is to get like shows up and stuff. And if I was to, not that anyone asked, but something for up and coming magicians that I'm sure you guys have a lot of viewers that want to go further in their career, a gimmick. A gimmick. The most commonly used expression on magicians' bios is unique blend of comedy and magic, and it's fucking every magician uses it. It's just
it's so true.
If like everyone just does the same thing, and I a few weeks ago I sent Josh a message. I watched his. I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, Josh. This is what I love about you. I was watching his Australia's Got Talent routine where he gets the 3 cards by dancing. And it's just perfect because his version of it, it's a song that he made. It's his dance moves and he does a backflip. And I don't know if you remember the message, Josh. It was like the middle of the night. And I'm like, no one's ever going to copy your act. Like
I was going to do it next year.
Well, other than Jason. Yeah, other than Jason. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Really, you've never seen me move, Chris.
It would be more
You'd
of
have
a
a bigger
forward
than the one at the end of
more
my
of a
show.
forward drop and roll.
I'll be going through a stage.
No trapdoor required.
Yeah, that's it.
I don't want to make jokes.
I'll leave my mark. That's for sure. Trust me.
So,
But anyway, yes, but no, you're right. Yeah, so have a gimmick, like have a unique selling point, basically.
I
have a
always
unique
say
selling
that
point.
if
I'm
you
the
wanna
street
be
magician,
great,
dude. Come on.
have a point of view. That's the number one thing. Have a unique point of view.
Or 100,000 followers on Instagram. That'll do it too.
No, that doesn't make you
1.4
great.
million followers.
Doesn't make you great.
If you want.
Something
There's so many great magicians out there the world doesn't know about yet. They'll find out soon enough.
What were you going to say, Chris? Something you wanted to know about?
Well, I don't think anyone's got an answer to this in this group, but something I think about that I don't post online. But I want to know if someone like Xavier Mortimer or Adam Trent, who both had theater shows pre-COVID and then merged to making videos during COVID. Like, no matter how you feel about them, they get all the views.
Right.
The most
like hundreds of millions. Does that translate to ticket sales for them now?
Interesting.
I would love to know that.
It seems like Mortimer's killing it right now.
experience.
He's like got one of the top-rated magic shows in Vegas for sure.
Who's that?
Xavier Mortimer. You're asking how he's doing. I'm telling you how he's doing. He's killing it.
Yeah, of course. So is Adam Trent. Adam Trent's still killing it too.
Does he have a showcase in Vegas or anywhere?
I don't know that it's in Vegas, but I know that he's doing shows, stage shows and stuff.
Well, Adam Trent, didn't Adam Trent just bring out a new show? Like a special?
Yeah, they're all doing it. They're all killing it.
And the gimmick is like helping other people do the magic or something like that.
You know, even on a much smaller scale, with my Instagram following, in December, I had the best December in terms of gigs that I've ever had. And most of those gigs, I would say 75% of them came from my following.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that's Instagram centric?
Mostly Instagram, definitely.
Okay.
Mostly Instagram.
That seems to be a higher level of consumer there. Like,
Well, I would say that Instagram has a higher level of social proof than, say, TikTok, for example.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you have a good Instagram account and people love that. I mean, what do employers look at these days? It's Facebook and Instagram. In fact, it's Instagram first because Facebook's outdated.
Yeah.
So it's like
the amount of clients that will inquire, and then I'll also see them start following my Instagram. It's true. But back to what Chris is saying is it is super weird. Like the Julius Dean train of 3-minute videos, the Rick Lax, Julius Dean, Adam Trent, strange. And I even saw Tom from Dynamo's team back in the day.
Tom Elderfield.
Yeah, I've seen him consulting on those videos as well.
He's one of my favorite brains in Magic on the planet, and yeah, I love it.
Tom Elderfield.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about him? I'm unfamiliar with this name.
I owe a lot to Chris for introducing me to Dynamo when he came to tour Brisbane.
Is that Dynamo?
Tom Elderfield was a consultant of Dynamo.
Oh, I see.
Like one of the main one.
I see. One of those guys.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
I
just
know
one of them
guys.
fellas.
One of those guys.
One of them dudes.
One of the brains.
Oh,
One of the
another
most
consultant of
magicians in history.
Dynamo. What the?
No, there are guys who do very well in particular producing material for television consumption.
And if I see one more consultant for Dynamo, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. I'm sick of it. There's too many of them.
Stop giving jobs to up and coming magicians. You Stop supporting the industry, you dog.
Eshe.
Yeah,
Magician
I love that your story, Christopher, really started with those 200 shows with the Illusionist, right? Like without that wonderful groundwork, it's like, what a great resource. So, people want to learn something.
I think it's amazing that you took I would say a pay cut so that you could get this education, right? Like, I'm assuming, because you said that you were getting $30 an hour for this when you were probably doing gigs that you were charging way more. And the experience, I guess the value you get is more than money, right?
It was a job, as in I was taking a casual job,
Right.
Yeah. And but I don't think that was brave or anything, because what magician wouldn't work with those guys?
A lot.
And I remember when we started.
The question is, who does it for all 200? Does everyone do that? If you really want it, you do. Yep.
I think you're underestimating your own passion there, because I don't think many magicians would do it. I think a lot of magicians say they would, but I don't think that they actually would.
We were talking about your age earlier. How old are you? Are you
33? I'm 37.
37. So when was this happening? Were you were 20-ish, 24? You were saying?
No, not like late 20s, I think.
Late
maybe
20s.
like 27, 28 is when
you had a more mature mindset than say, someone coming out of high school or college wanting to be a magician.
I think it was like 7 years ago, right? 7.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, maybe 7 or 8. That was cool. We did one together, right, Josh, over in New Zealand.
So Chris got me on board to do the merchandising, like behind the counters and stuff. And
you've talked about this.
Yeah, in Brisbane and then in Auckland. And I always remember it because Auckland was the first day that I left my day job and was like, all right, we'll just see how Magic goes. Because Magic was slowly.
Was it really?
Magic was there was a 2-year period where I was doing Magic part-time. And then I finally made the jump, and the next week was when I came to. I think I messaged you and I was like, "Hey man, I'm happy to help out with the Illusionist merch if you have anything coming up." And you were like, "Oh well, we're going to Auckland. Pack your bags." And that was the first week of me being a full-time magician.
Beautiful.
7 years ago. Crazy.
Do you remember how cool it was? Just walking in when the show started and watching it.
It was ridiculous.
Going out with the guys afterwards and stuff. It was just every day. Hey.
Yeah, and they were the main focus of Magic at the time. Everyone was talking about the Illusionist.
Yeah.
I'm curious if their material evolved during this show, during the run. Did the show change much during these 200 shows? Were these magicians inspired to try new material, or did it pretty much stay?
That's an interesting question, and that's an interesting way to word it, because they were cast in that show. When I talk about this, I want to respect other people's formulas and stuff. But if you go back and look at that original lineup, with the exception of Mark Kalin and Ginger, all of them were viral at the time, mostly for America's Got Talent or Ellen, and nearly all of them were cast to do those viral acts. So Kevin was doing the soaring, and Dan Sperry was doing the lifesaver through the eye. And
that makes sense.
And yes, so the show definitely, like, I remember the one I paid to see at the Opera House. All of the other shows were completely different. I saw one of the first week because I was such a fan. I lined up to get a photo with Jeff Hobson. Holy shit, I remember that. And for half an hour. That's funny.
I bought his egg bag after seeing that show. I thought it was so damn good.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
If only he sold his personality with the bag. Hey?
Yeah.
Man, I was so fooled.
I'll just go fuck myself.
No, I mean, no one will ever present it like him. I wasn't.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
No, I know what you meant.
No, and I was so fooled that first time that he revealed he had stolen 6 people's watches. That was ridiculous.
In the middle of a friggin' professor's nightmare. That's insane to me.
Yeah, I was
crazy.
If there's ever a reason to do rope magic, it's to steal 6 people's watches.
Wasn't it? Was it 7? No, it was 6. Yeah, I can't remember. It was a lot. I just remember him whipping them all out. He's just like, "Yeah, I've got all these," and then I was like, "Wow, okay."
That was the finale of before they end with Snow. The last trick of the Illusionist is Jeff Hobson doing egg bag and revealing 6 watches to the Sydney Opera House. That's how good he is.
Snow is the encore. Then, right? Jeff is finishing the show.
Yeah, curtains go down, curtains come back up. When I was growing up,
Is there a piece after Snow?
Nah.
Yeah.
Just because it's a theater show, they do a curtain call. Where the dancers come out and bow and the band get their bow, but there's not anything beyond that.
And for those wondering, Chris also does a snowstorm in his show.
Yes, we haven't talked enough about the nakedness. Before we start talking about it, I would like to advance to the future and talk about: are you currently booking this show? And if so, what are your current goals moving forward?
Well, we just played in Australia's not as progressed as the rest of the world in regards to moving on from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And we just played the Brisbane Comedy Festival in October, which was our first time playing Australia in bloody 3 years, since 2018. We're gonna do the show again for sure. We want to do a couple more rounds together, and then I think there'll come a time where we believe that the show will last longer than us. We don't think that we are the show now, but we think it has a life.
Me and Josh taking over after that. It's
That's
going to be the fat
interesting.
guy in the hot
Okay.
positivity, right? We need a fat guy up on that stage.
Come on.
So this is where you move into a producer role, right? You're looking to produce this and other events.
Yeah, I love creating live shows, and
what
I love
are
writing.
you magic specific, or do you? What are your?
They're
interests?
They're not magic at all. That's the crazy part.
Elaborate, please.
Two-Man Tarantino was beautiful, by the way.
Yeah.
Great show.
It's done really well, and it just got a couple of awards. I'm really thankful for it.
Of course.
And,
what is that show? What is that?
Yeah, it was a play, actually. It was the only.
Play?
I don't think I'll write many plays, but it was set in a video store in Australia on the last night of video stores. And while the shopkeep is packing up, the last customer comes in, and then they spend the last 60 minutes recreating every Quentin Tarantino film using just what's left in the store. It's called Two-Man Tarantino, and it was so much fun. It was really fun.
It was great.
That
I really
sounds like
enjoyed
a good time. Yeah.
It was all Brisbane creatives as well that made and performed in the show, and that's my biggest passion. Is Mike and I learned that Brisbane has what it takes, as in our city, to make shows that can play on any stage on the planet, including Broadway, Vegas, West End. So, I've done it once. I believe I can do it again, but I want to give that opportunity to other performers that might live in Brisbane and might not have had that opportunity yet. That's my passion, and that's what I want to spend the next chapter of my life doing, I think.
I dig it.
While still indulging my ego sometimes with a few trips to the stage.
Look, writing a show is hard, right? That is not a gimme event. That is a serious endeavor on any level.
Yeah, it's hectic. Have you written shows?
I write a show every day, but it's only 1 minute long.
But that's 365 minutes a year, which is longer than any show I've ever made.
Yeah.
That's the EP version, 1 minute. It's like,
that's
going to do 59 seconds today.
That's pretty funny. That's a good one, Doug. Did you write that joke yourself? I don't think you did.
Yeah. For those listening, like all of the TikToks you see Doug put out, he does sit there and write the script for. So
I do.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you have the success that you do.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
I take it serious.
And
I could take it more serious, but I do try.
I don't know. Do you like? Here's something that's interesting because Doug sits there and writes out the script. You know what I do instead is I speak my script until it sounds right. Does that make sense? Like I sit there, I don't write it down. I write it up here. And I just keep saying stuff until it sounds like, okay, now it's starting to flow and it sounds good. And then that's why my videos are always like when I'm speaking, it's very articulate and clear. But it's like, that's how I come up with my whole scripts for everything I do. So what's it like for you though, Chris? Do you find that you're just in your head and then jotting it down on paper, or do you actually speak it out and act it out? And like, what's it like for
when
you?
I write a show, or when I'm on stage, or
even just when you're writing a bit, like just say a bit, for example. It doesn't need to be a whole show, but I just want to know what that creative process looks like for you.
There's a couple of different ways. The first is in the Naked Magicians, we've found so many funny moments in the moment. And then we used to film every single show, and then we were able to go back and reference it. But now, and it's cool, if I do something good in the show, Mike remembers it.
Yeah.
And then if Mike does something good in the show, I remember it. And then afterwards, it's like, dude, that line, you got to do it again tomorrow night. And then when I'm writing, I actually have like a thing. I won't show it, but a folder on my phone that has I've got one for ideas and then one for jokes. Beautiful. And like, so the best example I can give. So Josh would know that sometimes I do stand up, and that's mostly just to keep my funny bone flexed. I walked past a guy. I went for a walk yesterday afternoon on the water, and a guy had a shirt that said "End Poverty." And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing with that shirt? And why did he buy it instead of donate that $30 to a chat? Like, and I'm like, what's his end game with that shirt? And so I wrote down questions while I was walking about this fucking idiot and his shirt. And I'll try and...
Was he a fat guy? Was that the joke?
Yeah.
No, the joke is, what the fuck is a shirt that says "End Poverty"?
Josh, you're saying that my weight is contributing to poverty?
No, but if you were like, you know, I survived anorexia or something like that, then I'd be like, oh, that's the joke, you know, because there are shirts like that exist, but it's like, you know.
I did see one where it says eating disorder in recovery, and it was a massive fat dude. And I'm like, recovered, you've recovered.
So let me interject back to the conversation. While I do write my scripts, a lot of the time I'll just outline an opening hook and then a closing line. And then in between, there's a joke I try to get in. And then, as I say these words and maybe rehearse the routine, the middle flushes itself out. So maybe I don't script everything all the time.
Okay, so you do it very similar to me then. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do a lot of the time script it all, right? A lot of times, just if it's a longer routine, it's very important to get it under a minute. So you got to make sure that you got the script perfect sometimes for what I'm doing in my brain anyway. But a lot of times it's not that. And what I was going to remark on is that the evolution happens in the performance. And this is what Christopher's talking about, recording the shows, getting your friend to take notes of what's happening, and the pieces evolve during the repetition if you're doing it intelligently.
You know, I remember Jar McAvoy. Do you remember Jar McAvoy and Marek Breeden? They were doing a little comedy club magic night thingy at one point there. They said I did one of them. Yeah. And they said that they were telling me, they were like, oh, it's so weird. He films his own show. And I was just like, that's fucking awesome that he does that. What do you mean it's weird?
Yeah, that's like the
it just
super
makes so
pro
much
move.
more sense. like
you know
they
what's
couldn't
weird?
understand
I didn't
it. They were
film
like,
that show.
I was just like, dude, it makes so much sense because they're always going to watch that back and be like, why was I doing this movement? And why did I say the joke like that? Like, why wasn't the inflection like this? And then
The actual
start
weird
critiquing
thing,
your own work, right?
the weird thing is that they thought that was weird. That's the weird thing.
Well, yeah.
How do you recover if a joke? How do you recover if a joke falls flat, Chris?
Oh, okay. Tigger T. Here's what I'm here. This is I love that question. You're gonna hate my answer. I fucking love it when I try a joke and it dies. I love it. There is no better learning curve for me than eating shit on stage. Tigger, here's the thing. I've eaten shit 1,000 times, and all the great guys have. Sorry, I don't want to. No, fuck it. I am great. I'm great at stage. I'm amazing at stage comedy and shit at 1,000 other things. So, how do you recover a joke falls flat? Not with the crowd, but your confidence. If you start to doubt yourself, I just
that doesn't happen.
Myself up about it for 12 hours. So look, Chris Kenner is one of my heroes in Magic, especially for his work ethic and
testify.
He just given so much to Magic. And I remember once when I was touring, I'd had like a horrible show, Tigger, where it wasn't just one joke fell flat. It was like just wrong crowd, my wrong energy, perfect storm of a show. And I was in my hotel room feeling like crap. And I said, hey, man, it was something like I'm having the worst night. And, they say you're only as good as your last show. And I just had the worst show ever. And he replied, fuck that. You're only as good as your next show. And then I was for 2 days, I had 2 days off and I'm like, let's go. I'm ready. Yeah. And it was, but you have to Tigger, a willingness to fail is what I would say is completely necessary. And that's the difference between what Doug, Jason, and Josh do with their online stuff is amazing. And I've just started doing it. I'll never get as good as them.
You will. You'll be better than us in no time.
I can't discount that. But the only way you can learn how to deal with those failures is live entertainment. Because when we fuck up recording something, do it again.
Record it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's why I street perform. That's where I get my fix of live.
And you did that first. And Jason, you would have eaten crap live doing street performing. Hey.
Many craps.
There's no theater etiquette. I've got security guard, even an usher, the lights down. There's no distractions at all. You've got.
I've had my shit rocked on the streets. That's for sure.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good though. A willingness to fail. Yeah, I like that. It's like there's just no better learning experience than actually doing it live. I completely agree. And I think that's what makes a big difference between, say, myself and many other people that are making content on the internet is that I've eaten so much shit live that doing it on the internet feels kind of easy in comparison. You know what I mean?
No one interrupts you while you're doing it.
In the short form video realm, there's been very few professionals that have tried to approach this.
Which is why I'm excited to see Chris do it. And I'd love to see, I've seen some of your videos so far, Chris, and the only advice I would have is I would love to see you speak more because you are an amazing presenter of Magic, at least in the experience that I've seen with you. You're funny and charming and you've got that great speaking voice. Why would you not capitalize on that in your videos? Because you seem to do them silently to music when you could be being funny as fuck, bringing that Christopher Wayne personality to the whole world via the internet. But you're kind of cheapening your own experience, in my opinion, by posting these silent videos. You know what I mean? Got him.
I'm so thankful for you calling me out on that. And I'm thinking about it. So and I'm listening to you right now because you are where I want to be.
It's like you're where I want to be. I want to be making shows and being rich.
I'm one of those things now. And it's a showmaker. Yeah.
I'd love to see your personality.
I've got a beige background. That's how things are going over here.
Where are you posting, Christopher? Are you on TikTok or YouTube?
Oh no, I literally just got I've got my Instagram. I started
Instagram
last year. I started Instagram. I had an old one. I did a TV show, and I deleted my old one just so the press couldn't look up photos of my ass. And
no, that's good professional advice.
And so I've got a new one, and I just started making reels literally 2 weeks ago.
Okay, brand new then.
Jason, I think it's laziness. Not intentional laziness, because I love music,
right?
And I've got it on when I film,
of course.
but I've just never thought about talking, and I get a lot of like the voice thing. I've never thought about putting my spoken personality in, and that's probably something that because I am unapologetically not like when I say I'm great at stage comedy, I am so bad at close-up magic. Like my hands are fidgety. I can't do it without looking at what I'm doing. I'm stumbling.
Yeah, but you did you did a Professor's Nightmare routine, which you handled perfectly. Like the presentation of that routine was perfect, but you were silent, right? Like you didn't speak.
Yeah, I was.
In that performance. And for me, that's like, man, that's such a missed opportunity where you could be putting that personality out. I mean, what is it that people really respond to you for? Do you think it's because you do a magic trick, or do you think it's because you're you and no one does you better than you?
No, it's that, because I'm not the greatest magician. I will never enter a magic contest. Every magician that I meet is better than me at actual magic, but gift of the gab is the term that comes.
In my opinion, that's the best. Like that is so much stronger than any
I'll second that. If you really want to grow on the platforms, you got to share yourself with the people.
Yeah.
Through the verbiage.
This is great. This is such handy. I would have paid you guys for this information. This is amazing.
Hey Josh, can we start this over?
Yeah, that's right.
Chris, give us the money. Idea here. 40 grand.
3 minutes.
I'm so thankful for that. With Jason, from now on, my videos are going to have me talking.
I'd love to see that. Yeah, I would love to see that. That would be amazing.
Hey guys, surely that's worthy of a like and share.
You got to start it by saying,
"Hey, bro, get your own ending tagline, you some bitch."
And at the start, you say, "What's up, guys?"
Yeah, what's up, guys? Jason Ma, the Magician, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we're going to be watching Christopher Wayne.
My goal with each opening 3 seconds is to give the viewer a reason to consider the moment in their life. Instead of most magicians, as Jason just mentioned, doing magic to music and being like, you know a trick's coming, but you don't give a crap because they haven't given you a reason to care. And the music's playing. Now, use this first 3 seconds to say, hey, here's why you should care. And then, assuming you're going to do a magic trick, do the trick.
You could do anything, man. You could do the simplest. You could do the simplest here and there, but as long as your personality is amazing, it'll just hit right. You know what I mean?
The one I filmed last night is getting really good. It's the first one I've done with my voice.
Yeah, and it's doing better, right?
And
it's doing better.
Quite well, I think.
What is the opening moment of that video?
It's talking about a magic moment.
Voice, and I'm putting on my glasses, and I very intentionally started it with my voice and with me doing. So 2 things when I get compliments from people in my DMs, it's either my voice or my eyebrow raise. So I'm like, I'm going to start this video with both. And it's just literally a coin production, but I'm like,
it's great. It's a nice simple clip. It's quick as well, which is also great. It's if you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. Can you put up the thing, Josh?
Yeah, I still don't know how to find Christopher Wayne on Instagram. Can we enlighten you?
I don't know how to find
Christopher Wayne.
So Chris's his Instagram is in the description of this video. So wherever you're watching on Facebook or YouTube,
cool.
The link's there. Yeah.
I have to watch this show later, I guess.
Hey, what other guests?
This man's going to be pumping out quality content very soon, I think.
Well, look, I won't lie. I got drop my at in the comments.
I'll do it. I'll do it while we're I'll do it while we're talking. It's cool.
yeah, I haven't got much work at the moment. I'm not going to pretend I do. I hate it when magicians are like, hey, me and the team just want to wish you haven't got a fucking team, mate. You live alone. I'm so sick of that shit.
All right,
I've heard
fine.
about these teams.
I'll take down my post. Jeez, far out. Just a little light humor.
I'm making videos and I'm loving it. It's if 1,000 people watch them, I'm like, that's so cool. Who are and I'm like, who are these 1,000 people that
yeah, what kind of impact did that video have to them, right? Because even though it's like a small thing, people are sitting there, shitting and scrolling and stuff like that. But maybe at that moment they stopped shitting and they were enthralled.
Well, maybe they weren't shitting and then they saw the trick
and started shitting. That's
So
right.
many
It awoke something within them.
You've unblocked them.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, I can't wait to see you pumping out the jokes and doing the magic tricks in the videos and stuff. That's gonna be awesome, dude. For real, I'm actually excited about it because I know how good you are, and it'll be amazing to see that.
Yeah, every day I wait for more professionals to show up to the arena.
Yeah, there's very few, man. Like like you keep saying like I'm doing really well, but that's because there's not really much competition, right? Like there are, I would say there are 10. I'm talking about anyone that does it, like in general. Like at the moment, the reason I can grow so quickly is because there's like 10 good magicians on the internet right now. It's like 10 of them. There's not that many when you think about it.
That
like
take the time to present magic.
I'm willing to bet that any of you that tried to name anyone, let's say, and I don't mean like when I say magicians online, I don't mean like Michael Amar, who's obviously amazing, but he's not doing the content stuff, right? He's not doing this content stuff. I'm talking about magicians that are doing the content stuff. I bet you couldn't name 10 off the top of your head.
No, I literally couldn't.
Yeah, I don't think any one of us could. I know I can't. I don't think Josh could. I don't even think Doug could. And that's because they just don't exist. There's just not that many of them.
We need to delete this video so people don't get the idea.
Here's the thing: it's hard. It's hard to do it well, and to do it consistently well to have any success is even harder. So it's all hard, and magic's hard to start with. So it's the triple trifecta of hardness. That's why most magicians want it easy, right? What 10 years?
You've already got people that'll be interested in seeing your content coming out. So there you go.
Thanks, Scotty. Tell me what you think of my coin production.
Yeah.
I just followed you.
I got 2 followers. I knew I'd get something done today. I knew
Look at that.
Yeah. Things
coming on the podcast. It's paying off. So for everyone who is watching this post, this being live or anything like that, of course you can watch Chris on his Instagram with the link below. I'm sure he'll be touring somewhere near you and you can see him naked. I'm sure that'll be happening.
Or you can FaceTime him and
that costs extra.
Little virtual naked magician show. That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I love this comment from Grant. Comedy magic and talking to a camera, all hard work. Is he trying to roast us?
No, he's being for real.
Yeah.
Speaking to a camera, I don't know about you, but I remember when I first started, speaking to a camera scared the shit out of me so much more than speaking to a live audience.
Is it because it's there?
It's because I'll give you this. Firstly, you have to learn to look straight into the lens, right?
Yes.
Look into the lens. And this is an unblinking eye.
What's up, Jay?
That is emotionless. So there's nothing to read. There's nothing to understand. There's nothing to... Like, how am I supposed to know that the joke is landing good or bad? I don't know until I post it. And then, people are going to see it. And then they'll comment below, that sucked. Or they'll comment below, that was amazing. But until you get that, you're putting this performance out into the nether with no...
It's doubly awkward because you have to have not double energy, but somewhere close to double the energy of your average performance as you approach this black mirror with your soul. Hey, boys, or whatever you say.
Boys, what is going on? Yeah. You got to somehow convert this presentation on a camera into energy that flows through a screen,
and I think that
which is a totally different ball game compared to doing it live.
Even drama, terror, it should all be amplified over this 2-dimensional weirdness we're looking at today.
it would seem people really enjoyed having you on, Christopher Wayne. I enjoyed having you on.
I'll do this if I can ever come back.
I think we'd love to have you.
Hey guys, I'm going to resign and give Christopher a spot. I think he's better. Let me give it up.
Sounds good.
No,
No,
We've been trying to get rid of Doug for fucking ages.
Finale episode.
I'm glad that our podcast is legitimate enough now that we were able to have you on.
Now that I finally had a whole show where my internet didn't glitch out.
That's right.
I can move on to better things.
Yeah.
Doug,
Hey guys,
I think that's it though. We're at 1:05.
Yeah.
This was a
Chris,
great
look,
show.
absolutely amazing. I'm super excited to see what you come up with on the online content. I think it's going to be fucking amazing. I really do. And make sure you share those onto TikTok, Reels, and YouTube Shorts because you can and you should. And with that all said and done, Josh, anything you want to add?
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.